welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is your favorite show, Daily Calls, a show that answers all your stock-related queries. Stock market experts join in to share their insights on the market outlook as well as to resolve all your stock-specific questions as well. In case you're watching the show for the first time, well, the WhatsApp number is flashing on your screens. This is where you can actually send in all your questions. Don't forget to mention your own name, your location and your contact details when you ask away your questions. Alternatively, you can also use the YouTube platform where you're using and watching our show live on. So use the comment section there and send me some questions from there, and I can happily take some questions with our guests to have all your queries resolved. Well, you can also be a part of the show by speaking to our guests live. So do mention in case you're available for a live call, and we will be happy to dial you in and to include you into the live conversations as well. Let's now introduce to you our guest of the show who will be answering all your stock questions today. We are now joined by Gaurav Sharma, Associate Vice President and Head of Research at Globe Capital, who's joining right in. Gaurav, warm welcome. Good to have you with us on the program. Well, we are seeing a bright shade of green, finally emerge on the D Street after weeks and months of volatility that we are seeing. And a large part of this also has to do with the relief that's coming in on the tariff trade talk that we had been seeing. Tell us what's the sense that you have on the markets. I mean, a few days ago, we were just feeling very vulnerable, not sure as to when will the selling stop, whether we are staring at a bottomless pit. But now finally, when there are some positive news flows happening, things are looking much better off. Would you be able to, say confidently that the worst is behind in the markets, and maybe the recovery could be something that will only improve from here on?
Good afternoon, Sakshi. Good afternoon to all the viewers. So, rightly mentioned, a lot of jittery trading sessions have been witnessed. Volatility is at its peak. What we are witnessing is kind of, after COVID, this is the largest kind of move that we have seen of late. And now answering the question whether the worst is behind us, it is still, a difficult or maybe $1 million question to answer. But what we are currently doing is we are moving in step by step. We are sticking to the basics now. When I say basics means we are sticking to the stocks and the sectors like specifically make in India and the businesses who generate their revenue from India itself. यानी कि यहाँ बनाना है, यहीं बेचना है. So that is what we are currently advising our clients, and it is actually doing in reasonably well for us. So that is what I would suggest to your viewers as well. Today, markets are
Absolutely.
hovering somewhat very close to around 23,300 odd levels. 23,400, 23,500 is a crucial resistance marks for Nifty if we talk about the spot Nifty specifically. So once that is taken out, yes, a further up move, 5,700 points up move can also be seen. Having said that, the our US and the Chinese counterparts should stay put in that case.
Okay, got that. Well, we do have some questions, early questions trickling in. So we'll get into the questions bit and we can come back to understand what your thought process is on various aspects on the markets. Our first question is coming in from Maurya. He's from Bengaluru. He wants to know from you an outlook on Bharti Airtel for the current series. Okay, so it's a shorter term time frame that he's looking at, just this series. Bharti Airtel has been showing us some bounces right there, but what's your expectation? There's a lot of talk about whether we could be soon looking at a tariff hike as well, yet another one that's coming in that could be the next key trigger. Your sense on Bharti Airtel at 1800?
Yes, before I address this query, I want to make a disclaimer here that I have recommended Bharti Airtel at some other platform as well for today itself. So now answering the question of Mr. Moria, yes, I am pretty much bullish on Bharti Airtel. Again, what
Okay.
I explained in the beginning, it is also something that drives, uh, you know, at least 90% of its revenue from India. So this is some place which was unaffected from the recent tariff trauma that we have seen in the past couple of sessions. Now coming on to the level fronts, what I see is currently the stock is quoting somewhere around 1800 odd levels. I see it testing somewhat around 2000 mark by the month end. For a short-term trading perspective, 1750, 1750 should be a closing stop loss.
Okay, got that. I hope, Maurya, you've got the answer to your question. Next, we have Avnish Chaudhary writing in on our YouTube platform. He says, Hi ma'am, इरिडा का आज रिजल्ट आने वाला है. पिछली बार के रिजल्ट आने के बाद शेयर डाउन चला गया था, तो इस स्टॉक पर अब क्या रणनीति अपनानी चाहिए? 188 पर मैंने खरीदा हुआ है ये शेयर और कुछ 3600 शेयर्स हैं मेरे पास. ओके, डेफिनेटली अवनीश जी, आपकी क्वेरी को सॉल्व करेंगे. इरिटा का डेफिनेटली आज रिजल्ट आने वाला है. आज नतीजों से पहले हमने 5% तक के आसपास का तेजी देखी है स्टॉक में. हालांकि पिछले कुछ 5 सेशंस में स्टॉक में थोड़ी वॉलेटिलिटी भी देखने को मिली थी. खास तौर पर अगर आप देखें तो अपने पीक से 52 वीक हाई से स्टॉक काफ़ी ज़्यादा नीचे ट्रेड कर रहा है. ऑलमोस्ट 44% नीचे ट्रेड कर रहा है. लेकिन अपने 52 वीक लो से भी एक बाउंस ज़रूर देखने को मिला है हमें यहाँ पर. ऑलमोस्ट अगर देखें तो 25% का यहाँ पर इम्प्रूवमेंट नज़र आया है. आज जो ये 5% तक का इम्प्रूवमेंट है, ये देखना होगा कि कंपनी क्या नतीजों के ऊपर खरा उतरती है या नहीं. गौर जी, आप क्या कहेंगे? इरिडा को आपने असेस किया है और यहाँ पर अर्निंग्स एक्सपेक्टेशन क्या होगी, और जिन लोगों के पास हायर लेवल से इरिडा है अभी, उनके लिए क्या स्ट्रैटेजी आप रेकमेंड करेंगे?
राइट, सो राइटली सेड, इरिडा में लास्ट क्वार्टर के रिजल्ट्स के बाद एक अच्छी खासी प्रॉफिट टेकिंग देखने को मिली थी.
जी.
शेयर की अगर रीसेंट टॉप की बात करूं तो 300 के ऊपर का आंकड़ा इस शेयर ने लगाया था. अभी क्लोज टू हाफ प्राइस पे अवेलेबल है. सपोर्ट्स के नजदीक ट्रेड कर रहा है. राइटली सेड, आज के सेशन में रिजल्ट्स आने वाले हैं एंड इट इज ट्रेडिंग समवॉट अराउंड 5% हायर. अभी के हिसाब से व्हाट आई कैन सी ऑन चार्ट्स इज, मैं अवनीश जी को सजेस्ट करूंगा कि 135 रुपए का एक स्टॉप लॉस लगाएं और अपनी पोजीशन को होल्ड करें. यहाँ से गिरावट के चांसेस बहुत कम हैं. स्टॉक इज लाइकली टू ट्रेड अपवर्ड्स. 170 175 का एक रेजिस्टेंस लेवल जरूर दिखाई पड़ता है नियर टर्म के लिए, बट वंस दैट इज टेकन आउट, एक बार इसके ऊपर निकलता है तो फर्दर मुझे 190 95 एंड इवन 200 तक के लेवल्स नियर टर्म में आते दिखाई देते हैं. सो फ्रॉम माय साइड, यू शुड होल्ड ऑन टू योर पोजीशन 135 रुपए के क्लोजिंग स्टॉक के साथ.
ओके, चलिए, यहाँ पर भी आपको स्ट्रैटेजी रेकमेंड कर दी है अवनीश. होपफुली आप इसे फॉलो करेंगे. नेक्स्ट वी हैव दिस क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम अनिल फ्रॉम देहरादून. ही सेज, आई हैव 500 शेयर्स ऑफ सूसलॉन एनर्जी. I bought it at 53 levels. I want to know whether I can continue to hold my position on Suzlon. Yes, Suzlon is also an interesting one, Gaurav, because we've seen in the early part of 2024, we saw this stock really outperform and give considerable amount of gains. But then, of course, during the consolidation, this stock also fell flat, and it also came off quite a bit from its all-time high levels. Now, do you think it will have the strength to again go forward and retest those all-time highs at all?
He said power and energy stocks were the show setters in the previous rally that we have seen, where to the likes of Irida, Suzlon, Inox Wind, NHPCs, SJVNs, these all have been, they have done phenomenally well in the past. Now a sense of profit taking is there from levels close to 82, 85 odd levels. The stock is currently quoting at 54. I see the stock accumulating at current levels. So my advice is to hold on to the stock, keeping a stop at 45. And in the near term, 60 should not be a problem. Once that is taken out, the stock has potential to test 68 and even 70 levels in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, fair point. I hope this has also answered your question. Next, we have Shreya writing in from Bihar. Hi, Shreya, how are you? She says, should I invest in gold at the current levels or will prices go down? Well, it's a $1 million question, Shreya, that you're asking. Gold prices have already seen such a strong momentum in FY25. That's the just gone by financial year. The gold prices have surged 32% odd. And beyond that also, in this new year itself, we've already seen double-digit gains come in for gold prices already. What's more, looking at the global uncertainty, brokerage houses even today are penciling in much higher targets that we are seeing on gold prices today. There were at least 2 brokerage houses reports penciling in targets of $3,500 an ounce and $3,700 an ounce today, looking at the uncertainty that we have. But we'll definitely understand from Gaurav, for a retail investor, what makes sense returns to really have as a strategy on gold? Gaurav, of course, everybody is having a FOMO because we have seen probably, a rally that we've not seen in our own history in such a short period of time on gold prices. And that's the what is unfolding even right now as we speak. What exactly would you advise retail investors?
My advice would be very clear when we talk about gold. See, if you are considering gold for a short-term trading perspective, you must consider some part booking here. But if it is for a longer term perspective, maybe at least for a year end or beyond, it is better to hold on to the position. No fresh buying advisable as of now.
Okay, got that. I hope, Shreya, this has also helped you out in understanding the right strategy. Let's take the next one. We have Kalpesh Patel writing in from Mumbai. He says, I have a short position for April futures on ABB Limited. I have a short position at 52.50 and I'm expecting a target of 42.20. Will that be possible at all? Kalpesh is, having a short position in the current markets which are recovering. But on ABB, do you see a short position will give him any kind of a leeway?
See, somewhat downside is possible, and that will be an outcome of the overall market tumbling down, maybe due to any kind of news or something or whatever. But 4200, I don't think, at least in April month, it is anywhere on the cards. The stock is somewhat recovering from the recent lows. Since the viewer has already taken a position, I'll advise him to take a stop at 5600 April futures level and simply exit the position if that level is taken out, because once that level is crossed, the stock will head towards 6000 in no time.
Okay, got that. I hope this has also helped you understand, Kalpesh, what your strategy should be. Next, we have a question coming in from Manoj Bhai Kapadia. He says, डेंटा वाटर सप्लाई का शेयर मैंने 298 पर लिया है, अभी क्या इसे रखे रहना चाहिए? 295 पर करंटली ये स्टॉक ट्रेड कर रहा है. एक स्मॉल कैप स्टॉक है जिसकी मार्केट कैप केवल आई थिंक 788 करोड़ के आसपास की है और पिछले 6 महीने में 13% तक का डिप इस स्टॉक में देखने को मिला है. खास तौर पर फेब्रुवरी ऑनवर्ड्स काफ़ी डिक्लाइन हमें देखने को मिला है. ईयर टू डेट लेवल्स भी देखेंगे तो भी हमें अराउंड 13% तक का मूव देखने को मिलेगा ऑन द डाउन साइड. ऑन द वे डाउन इन्होंने खरीदारी की है डेंटा वाटर पे 298 पर. एनी सजेशन हियर, गौरव?
See, the late data is very much limited for this particular stock. Neither we have started a coverage on it. So broadly, I haven't tracked it. But
Okay.
whatever sense that I have of this particular stock, nothing material is happening. I would suggest better you must consider shifting it to some other place. If you are considering a similar, then why not go out with a Vabag?
Okay, Vatek Vabag is an alternative stock that has been suggested to you, Manoj Bhai Kapadia. That's something that you could really look at. That can actually offer you better prospects of making higher returns. So something within the same lines that you could look at, but probably a better stock name on that front. Okay, we'll take some other questions too. We have Momita from Kolkata writing in, says, good afternoon, Sakshi. I have BSE shares in my portfolio at the rate of 2672. I want to know what will be a better strategy. Book the profits and enter only after the bonus has been declared. There is a risk that, after bonus the stock could actually come down. Yes, there will be definitely a split adjusted, level that you will see for BSE once that happens. Today there is a 5% uptick and you have bought it at 2672. We'll find out whether this is a right strategy for you, Momita. Gaurav, what would you advise people holding from 2600 levels or have actually been sitting on smart profits on BSE? What should be the strategy before the bonus as well as after bonus?
What simply I can reckon from the holding price of this particular viewer is that she is a long-term investor.
Yes.
The stock is completely trading at a double the price. She has seen a correction from the stock from the recent top somewhat around 6000 plus levels to when it recently came down to 36 3800 mark, but she still
Correct.
held. So, which is quite a good thing. Now, a clear stance on it. Do not worry about anything, just go on holding it.
just go on holding it. That's the suggestion for you. Momita, I hope you hear the advice that has been parted to you as far as our guest is concerned. Satya CK writes in on our YouTube. He says, I recently bought Entero Healthcare at the rate of 1120. I want to know short to medium term targets to book profits on this one. What would you advise? Entero Healthcare. He wants to book out profits in the short term. What will be the ideal way?
Is the stock is having some resistance just about 10-15 odd points from the current levels, that is 1275 is a resistance zone. This happens to be the confluence zone of its 100 and 200 period exponential moving average. So stock will face some resistance around those levels. So I would suggest booking part profits around the current levels only, and holding the rest with a tight stop loss placed at 1200 levels, and for the remaining position look for targets close to 1350.
Okay, got that. Today's day of spike on this one in the last 1 month. 11% move has come in. Large part of that 9% move has come in today. So it's the first sign, and that could probably spell good news for the company and the stock price going forward. So keep an eye out on this one. Let's take the next one. Anand Roy writes in now on our YouTube. He says, Hi Sakshi. Hi Anand. Hope you're doing well. He says, I'm stuck with Tata Motors, okay, and Tata Technologies as well. So both Tata Group companies is what he is looking at, Gaurav. His purchase price on Tata Motors was 790 and Tata Technologies at 870. Now he wants to know what should his strategy be. Should he average at the current levels? Both these stocks, both have actually been testing his patience. Tata Tech, right from the time IPO got launched, there has not been any light at the end of the tunnel so far. Tata Motors has been an outperformer of the past, but people actually got it at the on the way up. And now from last 6-7 months odd, they have been feeling stuck. Again, there are these tariff policies that have further hit the sentiments in the auto pack as well. What's your suggestion on both Tata Tech and Tata Motors?
I would suggest that one should try getting out of Tata Technologies on any recent bounce that he may have. Now, as far as Tata Motors is concerned, yes, a lot of problems are there. It drives a good amount of business from the JLR segment from the Chinese market, and if that is business and if their economy is hit, so these premium car segment will definitely feel the heat, and that is what we have seen of late when Tata Motors has negatively reacted to all kind of tariff news that have come in. Now, as far as an investment strategy, if we look at it, the people are stuck at higher levels. I will not suggest them to exit the position. Rather, if they have some spare money, they should consider averaging out their position, because these conditions, the geopolitical conditions that we are witnessing across the globe, are not here to stay. Things will normalize soon, and once they do so, businesses will start getting back into action.
Got that. I hope this has also answered your question. Let's take the next one. This is Ankur Modi who's writing in. He says, Hi Sakshi, hope you're doing good. Very well, Ankur. Thank you so much for asking. I hope the same for you. So he says, it's been a long weekend, but now I hope things are looking up in the markets. He wants to know about two stocks. One is Bank of Maharashtra from the PSU banking space, and the other one is TBO Tech. Both at the current levels, he wants to know whether anyone or both of them look good for the long-term perspective. Any fresh investments that you could probably advise here? TBO Tech currently at 1103, and the other one is Bank of Maharashtra.
Let me first take the Bank of Maharashtra, currently trading at 146 odd levels. So, yes, this is a good stock to hold at current levels. If you are looking at PSUs, you can even consider Canara Bank, and part your money in equally divide in both these stocks and hold it for at least 2 to 3 quarters, and you can expect somewhat around 15 to 20% kind of a return in that time period. And as far as the next stock is concerned, that is TBO Tech. We
Yeah.
do not track it that much, but the charts do not look attractive, rather a dismal kind of a formation. clearly indicating that there is more room of a downside. No consolidation is visible. So better to exit this particular stock.
Yeah, okay, got that. I hope this has answered your question. Let's take the next one. We have Namita Arora joining in. Says, hi Sakshi, how are you doing today? Very well, Namita. Thank you so much for asking. I hope the same for you. She says, could you please advise good levels to buy Sun Pharma as well as TCS? So IT and pharma. So looking like, people are again garnering the strength to look again at the export oriented sectors once the tariff talk has settled down a little. You can see IT stocks again coming on radar. So TCS after the earnings and Sun Pharma from the pharma pack. Any advice here?
First of all, a good healthy heart is required to invest in these stocks at the moment, especially when what we have seen in the past, and especially when Trump administration has said that they are looking at imposing tariffs on the pharma sales. Having said that, both of them are good sound stocks. As far as Sun Pharma is concerned, I will not suggest that one should only keep one Sun Pharma as a pharma stock in their portfolio. Better to have at least two to three of them. Sun Pharma, maybe one of them. Other one could be Divi's Lab and Dr. Reddy's for that matter. And when it comes to TCS, again, TCS is at a mouth-watering levels at currently, no doubt about it. Trading very close to the 3,000 mark, which is a 3,000 to 2,800 is a very important support level for that stock. So if you can have a further dip closer to that level, better to start buying around that range. Wait somewhat around for some time. I think maybe in the next week you might get a chance to buy it around that.
Okay, got that. Got that. Let's take some other questions too. We have some questions coming in again on our YouTube platform. Okay, we have this question now from Ratna Prabha. Says, could you please advise me on Dhanuka Agritech? Can I invest in this stock? Is it advisable? Agri-focused stocks also in focus. Do you think this is something that one can look at this current levels? We are, probably in a couple of months be looking at how monsoons will turn out. Any suggestion here?
Yes, this is good time to start accumulating Dhanuka. Currently, it is at trading at 1310, 1312 levels. So you can buy it in tranches and better buy it on highs. You can buy some part here, add once the stock is able to go past 1400 odd levels. And then you can, in the immediate near term, maybe couple of months, you can expect levels close to 1600, 1650 for that stock.
Okay, got that. Let's take the next question. We have some questions coming in on our WhatsApp as well, so we'll take that. We have this question from Naman. He says, is it a good time to deploy fresh money in Gensol Engineering? The stock has bottled down as per the news itself, which we saw on 12th April regarding the stock. What would you suggest on this one? Gensol Engineering, any suggestion in the last 1 week? 12% odd kind of a dip has already been seen. Does the structure continue to look, dicey at this point?
Yes, still the stock is looking weak, trading in lower lows and into lower circuits. My advice is clearly just get rid of it, exit the stock.
Exit the stock is the strategy, Naman. Don't risk your investment. You could probably look at an alternative that has been suggested. There are many stocks that Gaurav has advised. Gaurav, any suggestion, any stock that you have picked out from your own end that you'd like to advise, where one can look at for better prospects?
Yes, a couple of stocks are there. I am sticking to those areas, as I've said initially in this session, that uh, the sectors and the stocks where the business is driven, manufactured in India and sold in India. For that matter, hotel industry can be considered one of those. Two-wheelers drive a good amount from India itself. Uh, the confectioner stocks are also good. I'm confectionery business like DOMS and all. So these kind of areas are, some stocks and sectors which are less likely to be affected if some other news come up someday. So that is what I would advise. Bharti Airtel we have already discussed, and of course the banking and finance pack, specifically the NBFC pack. The declining interest rates will certainly favor the housing finance companies like PNB Housing and LIC Housing. So these are some of the areas people can start investing in and consider those.
Okay, got that. I hope this has also helped you out in identifying the right strategy. We have one more question coming in. This is from Hitesh from Silvassa. He says Reliance Industries 1200 पे होल्ड किया हुआ है. यहाँ पर आपका क्या व्यू है? Finally, the stock has started to move after a long haul, Reliance Industries. There's also this news flow that they are now seriously looking at expanding footprint in the shipping industry as well. Any suggestions on Reliance Industries for those who've been holding on patiently now at 1243?
One should go on holding a Reliance Industries. Things are moving in fine for this company, and 1300, are the immediate resistance levels. And I see that the stock is more likely to surpass this range, quite possible this month only. And if that happens, and this will open the gates for the further up move towards 1400 plus levels. So it's better to hold on to it.
Better to hold on to it. That's the suggestion that's coming in. Okay, so now before we let you go, we'll start taking some questions on the market outlook also with you, Gaurav. You have suggested some stocks, but if I have to ask you any sector-wise strategies that you are also devising at this point in time, which are the key sectors that are giving you that indication that external shocks or not, these sectors are in for some kind of a recovery?
We are focusing on the NBFC space that I've mentioned. We are focusing on the hotel industry. I like a couple of stocks from there. The top three sectors, stocks like Indian Hotel, EIH, Lemon Tree, they are all well placed and can be considered for medium to long term investments. Again, housing finance companies like I've mentioned LIC Housing Finance, PNB Housing Finance are good. Again, Bajaj Finance is there. They is doing all good. The kind of guidance and the kind of revenues that they have posted in the forward revenues that they have posted, these are quite impressive numbers. So they actually give me a chance that why shouldn't I be choosing and opting to invest in these spaces and hunting on to some other places which are more vulnerable to tariff related issues and other matters.
Okay, fair point. Now, Gaurav, if I have to ask you as well, on the earnings front, are you looking at something that one should really keep an eye out on? Earnings season kick started with TCS reporting its numbers, and we will be getting into the thick zone of earnings momentum. Where do you think one can actually keep an eye out on for momentum plays too?
I'll be keenly watching at what kind of guidance and future earnings that the Indian IT company comes up, because this
Okay.
is one space which will be largely impacted by the US, and with the tariff related issues, pharma is also one company. Although I have recently seen and even been part of some of the interviews of some large pharma CEOs of large Indian pharma companies, they are all confident, and with that confidence, they are also coming up with kind of very very logical statements that it is not actually possible, not at all possible for US to come up with some humongous tariffs on the pharma space. So even if we find some kind of a dip in that space, I would be eyeing at considering investing in those areas.
Okay, fair point. So that's as far as the outlook on the earnings is. We have some more questions coming in. So, Gaurav, we'll start taking some questions again with you. We have this question from Vinod Chaudhary, who says, good afternoon to all of you. Good afternoon, Vinod. He says, can I please get multiple averaging levels on two stocks, Home First Finance and Pondy Oxides? I want to get into these two stocks at multiple levels. Would that be advisable as well? Home First Finance and Pondy Oxides. What's your suggestion on either of these or both?
Perfectly, it is a good thing that the viewer is considering his investment into tranches. You can deploy your first tranche right now. These are very attractive level. I'm talking about Home First Finance. 1140 is a good level. We have seen a breakout, and I see it heading towards 1300, levels in the immediate near term. So first tranche should be placed in here, and if the stock resists to go past above 1300, then you may witness some kind of a profit taking there. From there, you should consider a second tranche of your investments in Home First. When it comes to bond dioxide, I am little doubtful as I have not tracked that stock of late, so won't be able to comment on that.
Okay, got that. I hope here's it's helped you out. Let's look at some other questions coming in. Okay, we have this question now coming in for from one of our viewers, Satyan. He says, I have Shivalik Rasayan in my portfolio at the rate of 695. Can you please suggest an average level at around the current levels? Should I average it, and can I continue to holding it as well, or is it better to switch to some other stock? Shivalik Rasayan currently at 609. He has been holding on the stock since 695 through the recent cool off period. What's your suggestion on this one, Gaurav?
Not very optimistic on this stock as of now. I would suggest that he should take a stop at 525 on closing basis and wait for some time. If the stock is able to go past 660 levels, then some hope would be there. Otherwise, it might come down. This is more likely. From the chemical space, SRF is one stock that we are having a focus at currently, although it has run up in the recent past. If you find a dip, you can consider that stock. Pidilite is also another stock that you can consider. It is available at attractive levels of 2960. This is a good range. Trading around its supports, broken out from the range. So these are the stocks you can consider.
Okay, fair point. I hope this has also helped you out in understanding the right strategy on the stock query. One more question that's coming in from one of our viewers. That's okay. So this one is on office space solutions. Satya CK wants to know a view
Yeah,
on that one. It's one of the
but
recently
I cannot
listed
hear
stocks.
the anchor.
Okay, we'll try and fix that for you, Gaurav. But in the meanwhile, we'll get
I
back to
cannot
the
hear the anchor.
markets. Okay, Gaurav, we'll try and fix that for you. Maybe you're not able
Yeah,
to get our audio there. Do you
it's
hear
fine
me
now.
now?
Yeah, I can hear you, Sakshi. Loud and clear.
Okay, so Gaurav, this question is on office space solutions, one of the recently listed stocks that we have. Satya wants to know what is your view on this stock and any suggestion on the outlook on this one, and can it be looked at the current levels too?
Uh, I'm afraid I haven't tracked this IPO, so won't be
Okay.
able to comment on that.
Okay, unfortunately, our guest hasn't tracked this, so hopefully, we'll get it done for you from another guest who'll be joining us shortly. I also wanted to get a sense on one of the banking names which none of our viewers have asked today. IndusInd Bank shot up 6.5%. It's a top mover today. We've seen a very volatile recent past on IndusInd Bank, of course, based on a lot of news flows that were taking place, company management coming out in the open talking about how a fraud took place, and they will be looking at a hit in Q4, and thereafter they will be looking at recovery taking place. There was a lot of confusion as to whether investors should be really looking at something like an IndusInd Bank post the fraud or not. What's your suggestion now? There has been slow, gradual uptick on this one as well.
From an investment standpoint, I'm not even considering IndusInd Bank. But from a trading perspective, especially for someone who is ready to take some risk, yes, some signs of a recovery are witnessed here, and 800 plus levels can be seen. 734 is where the stock is quoting, so it is better 690. Take a stop at 690. Buy the position right now. Look for targets close to 800, 820, and simply exit. So this is kind of a risky kind of a trade. I want to make a disclaimer here, not at all looking at from an investment perspective. What I'll be keenly eyeing as is the quarterly numbers. The management have confidently posted that they will be able to post a profit this quarter only. That is where I'll be eyeing at, whether they are able to post a profit or not.
Fair point. I hope this has helped a lot of our viewers who must be keeping a keen eye out on IndusInd Bank as well. Gaurav, we'll thank you on that note for being with us in our edition today, and I hope you enjoyed answering all our viewers' questions as much as we and all of us enjoyed listening to your advice on them. And hopefully, our viewers have got the right strategies on all their questions too. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time with us on Business Today Television and on Daily Calls.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right, viewers, we are now going to be inviting another guest on board. We have Jay Thakkar, Head of Derivatives and Quant Research, Vice President of ICICI Securities, now joining in. Hi, Jay. Warm welcome. Good afternoon to you. Good to have you yet again. Markets looking up fairly strongly, 23,350 with us. There's an over 500 point of an uptick. You can see a sea of green across the board with hopes that, this will only continue to improve and the worst is behind us. What's the suggestion that you have on the markets? What are you looking at?
Hi, very good afternoon to you, Sakshi. Thanks for having me back on your show, and I would like to congratulate you as well on being felicitated by your school. I mean, that's great. So yes,
Thank you.
the markets have bounced back, quite well. I would say it's back about 23,000. Importantly, this range was very critical. Sakshi, 22,800 to 23,000 on Nifty was very critical because in the previous occasions, Nifty has many times taken a pause there when it was falling, and vice versa. Even when it was rising, it has taken a pause there. Taking this level with a gap up indicates quite amount of strength in the index. So I think that 22,800 to 23,000 range now will act as a very crucial or a critical support range. Until this range is held, Sakshi, the probability of Nifty inching towards this recent swing high of 23,800 is quite likely. Now today's move, if you see, is very much backed by the. I mean, obviously, we have been seeing short covering across, not much in IT so far. But then banking has been, outperforming, and the way Bank Nifty is now heading, trading well above 52,000 levels, I think it's heading towards 53,000 to 53,500, which is its previous swing high as well. HDFC Bank has been one of the rock star performer for today among the private sector bank is concerned, which had been a laggard and has many in the previous occasion taken a pause around 18 and 18. Actually, if HDFC Bank takes off 1900 from here on, still another 30 points. If 1900 levels on HDFC banks are taken off, it would thereafter confirm a very long consolidation breakout. So hoping for that.
Okay, got that. Jay, we have a lot of questions coming in, so we'll start taking some questions, and meanwhile, we'll keep coming back to the market and your overall view as well. We have this question from Harshad. He says, "Hi Sakshi, how are you? I'm well." Harshad, good to know from you. His query is on Eternal, that's Zomato. He wants to buy a put on Zomato, 24th April 220 put. He wants to know, is it a good time to bet on put on Zomato? That's Eternal now.
Well, I would say this actually overall Eternal has witnessed good amount of short position build-up since the time it has been introduced to Nifty, or maybe prior to that when it was introduced to the futures and options segment as well. But then 200 levels have so far acted as a very critical support, and many previous occasions, I mean recent one, it has not closed below 200 convincingly, rather bounce back from those levels. So I think that one should be waiting as of now to buy puts. If one is not convinced on the long side, then at least don't be convinced on the put side right now. If you want to buy put, if you have a bearish view, I think if it goes below 210, it makes sense for buying put options, or buying in the money put options as well. Otherwise, this stock can just consolidate here, or maybe even move higher to 230.
Okay, fair point. Keeping that eye on as well. Let's take the next one. This question is again from one of our viewers who's asking on our WhatsApp number. We have Vivek from Kerala saying that I'm holding 200 shares of Supriya Life Sciences at 650. I need a short 3 months of a view and whether I can book profits and exit from this stock for now. Supriya Life Sciences bought at 650, about 200 shares. What would your suggestion be here, Jay?
I think, see, first of all, it's a non-FNO stock. It's a technical
Yeah.
recommendation. As a disclaimer, I would mention that again.
Hmm.
But then, I would say that on Supriya, one can place a stop loss of 695, trailing stop loss, and continue to hold. Why? Because, see, it's been consolidating within this range of 800 to 600 Sakshi since, November 24. I mean, it's been almost like 4 or 5 months that, it's been consolidating within this range. Um, if it breaks 695, then it would again slip towards this lower end of the range, which is 600, or maybe even below that of 550. So this
Okay.
basically increases below 695. Till those levels are held, there is a high probability of it testing the upper end of the range of 800. If it doesn't cross 800, then book profits there.
Got that. Okay. Let's take another question. This one is from one of our viewers, Rashmi. She has a question on two stocks. One is Samman Capital. At the rate of 154, she got an entry into the stock. Stock has come down from her purchase level 112, but today it's up by about 5 odd percent. Last 6 months, however, have seen about a 23-24% of a drop on this one. The second one that she has is Embassy Developments, and this one Rashmi bought at 142. Do you track either of these stocks, Jay?
I
Embassy
don't track.
Developments and Samman Capital.
I don't track these. I mean, I've just had a look at it when you just name them. And
Yeah.
looking at this near-term charts, I would say, Sakshi, that 130 is a very very critical resistance for Samman Capital. I mean, even in this bounce back of Nifty, if it bounces back until 125, it
Yeah.
would be a good bounce. One can exit because the longer term chart structure is not that bullish for me to comment anything bullish out here for a long term point of view. So I think any bounce to 120, 25 should be an exit opportunity to get into some better stocks. Even for that matter, midcap is concerned. There are many midcap available at a very lower levels now after this sharp correction which we have seen in the market since the past 6-7 months now. And as far as the embassy is also concerned, I think there is no such long-term uptrend seen in this stock. So both of these stocks are not that great to be invested in.
Okay, fair point. Hope this has really helped you out in understanding the right strategy. Jay, there's also, Indigo as a question coming in from some of our viewers who want to know as to what should they do. Now the stock is at a 52-week high. There were brokerage houses penciling in higher targets for this one. The stock has already been on an uptrend. But do you think at this point also it makes sense for investors to look at Indigo? I mean, brokerage houses are still penciling about 25-30% of an upside from here. Should one play for that one?
I think yes, Sakshi. I mean, till 5,000 levels or Indigo are held. I mean, see, we are seeing long build-up out there. It has been outperformer as well, one of the best performing airline stock in India, as well as I would say in the world because it has, I think, the number one market cap wise, airline company in the world now. So that clearly indicates that, and the kind of connectivity which it has in India is providing that. Although it's just making too much of profits by maintaining the lower cost, maybe fuel or maybe many other operating costs, but then that increase the profitability and that is what helps the shareholders and increasing the shareholders net worth or maybe the share price as well. So 5,000 levels is where I think till those levels are held there is a very high chance that it can just trend higher, and probably the targets mentioned by 20-25% higher from these levels can also be seen.
Okay, fair point. Jay, we have one more question coming in from one of our viewers, and this is Yogesh Thakur from Ballabgarh. He says, अभी तो मार्केट ऊपर जा रहा है, लेकिन अगर 90 डेज का पॉज खत्म होगा तो क्या वापस से बाजार गिरेगा? मैं इन्वेस्ट करना चाहता हूँ, लेकिन समझ नहीं आ रहा कि अभी अगर निवेश करूँ तो आज से 2 महीने के बाद मेरे पैसे का क्या होगा? आपका सही सवाल है योगेश जी. A lot of short-term investors may be under the confusion as to what should their short or medium-term strategy should be, because this is an interim relief that Donald Trump has extended. We do not know whether our country is able to extract the best negotiating deals with the US at this point in time or not. We also do not know that, whether this is a temporary relief, will there be some kind of relief after the 90 days pause. So everything is very flexible. So your question is very right. But at this point in time, we'll try and understand from Jay, for a short to medium term investor, whether just playing on the market or specific stocks, what exactly should you have in your portfolio to have that extra edge? Jay, how would you advise short-term investors?
Sure. Well, Sakshi, I would say that, see, first of all, there is one sector which has outperformed quite significantly in the fall and as well as in the bounce back. If you're seeing, then it's inching very sharply towards its previous all-time high levels, and that is banking. So BFSI segment overall is relatively less affected if you see as far as the Trump policies are concerned or tariff policies are concerned overall if you see. Okay. Secondly, I would say that the RBI governance is also well supportive for the same by providing the liquidity and maintaining the same as well by saying that maintaining 2 lakh crore liquidity surplus as and when required. Okay, so that is also a big thing. So liquidity will not be a problem. So credit growth will not be a problem. Okay, so banking is one space wherein one can be, even if for that matter, Trump announces any major thing before 90 days also. I think this is one stock which can, or this is one sector which can be, which will be less affected. So downside risk is relatively less. Pharma is a
Okay.
sector wherein you are not clear. So pharma is a
Yeah.
sector wherein there can be some ups and downs going forward, and obviously that can be the entire market actually. But at least for 90 days, you can say that the overall trend should be sideways to bullish. I mean, I don't see for next 90 days Nifty breaking 21,000 or 22,000 also. जो करंट लोज बने थे वो ब्रेक नहीं होंगे ठाकुर साहब अभी until next few couple of months. एक दो महीने तक तो लोज ब्रेक नहीं होने चाहिए until unless हमारे उधर नेगेटिव सरप्राइज आ जाते हैं with respect to the results earning season which has just started.
ओके गॉट दैट आई होप कुछ आइडिया यहाँ पर आपको लगा हो जो स्ट्रैटेजीज एक्सपर्ट्स एडवाइस कर रहे हैं उन्हें आप फॉलो करें और डेफिनेटली उम्मीद करते हैं कि चाहे एक्सटर्नल शॉक्स हो या नहीं आपके पोर्टफोलियो में बहुत ज़्यादा असर नहीं आएगा इस स्ट्रैटेजी को फॉलो करके। एक सवाल हमारे पास आया है और ये है हमारे एक दर्शक का व्हाट्सएप पर ये लिखते हैं अतुल है इनका नाम। ही वॉन्ट्स टू नो वेदर टाटा कंज्यूमर can actually rally till beyond 1500 levels in over 1 year. He actually has been holding the stock from a really early levels about 297, so he's holding on to handsome profits on Tata consumers because right now the stock is somewhere hovering around 1100 levels and he bought it somewhere around 300 levels. So first of all, many congratulations to you Atul for that staggering wealth creation that you have made on your position. Let's find out from Jay what's the future outlook on this one. Well, whether another 500 point of an uptick can actually be seen on this one. Tata consumer for you, Jay.
I think this is one of the very good stock as far as Nifty FMCG is concerned, Nifty consumption
Yeah.
is concerned. Sakshi until 950 levels are held. जब तक 950 के levels hold out कर रहे हैं, I think there is a fair chance. I don't know about 1500, but at least I think 1400 levels can be seen. So another 300 points can be seen, and downside risk from here on could be 950 points. So we already have a good 1:2 risk reward in this kind of a market. Anything over and above at or over and above 1:2 is a good risk reward to trade or play. So I think yes, Tata Consumer can. There is a high probability of 1400 to come, on screen.
Okay, got that. Last question that we will take with you, Jay, from one of our viewers is Ankur Modi says, "Hi Jay sir, I want to ask you one thing. Is it really possible to create wealth in the long term in the markets or is it just a myth? I have been investing in the long term, but I have not really generated that kind of a wealth." Ankur, good question there. Of course, a lot of retail investors must really be wanting whether they are doing the right things to be able to create massive wealth. We always believe that equity as an asset class has the potential to provide maximum returns, over a period of long term. But what is it that retail investors should do right to be able to really create a long-term wealth?
I mean, this is quite an open-ended question. It's a very
Yeah.
nice question as well. I would say, see, Sakshi, I would say that Atul, there are different ways of investing. I mean, one depends on your risk appetite as well. I mean,
Yes.
if you're quite aggressive, you are into, only equities. You're not invested elsewhere. Okay, you are okay. You're quite risk seeker. Then, if you're moderate risk seeker, then definitely you have a hybrid kind of a portfolio which has debt and equity both, or maybe gold, silver, debt, equity, everything. And if you are, I would say, risk averse investor, then you have more of debt and less of equity, and maybe asset allocation is accordingly. So the asset allocation that way is very very critical, Atul, I would say, and it's a very critical part. I mean, it depends on what age group you belong to, what is your risk appetite. Now coming only to equity specific, okay, so there also things depend on whether you are risk averse or maybe risk seeker. If you're a risk seeker, then definitely you have more of mid and small cap, okay, and less of large cap, and vice versa. Maybe you are invested in a flexi cap kind of a portfolio. Okay. Now, after doing that, I mean that's the second step. And after doing that, what's important tool is to check that which kind of stocks you are getting into. So getting into those stocks which are fundamentally, technically, from the derivative point of view, in a good uptrend, that makes more sense rather than entering into any illiquid stock, probably SMEs based on some news or rumors Probably getting into a stock wherein it's relatively available at in single digit, double digit at a very cheaper rate, and then you think that it can go 4 5 times and market grows and those stocks will not grow or may not grow probably. That makes your portfolio underperforming when markets are performing, and then even further underperforming when markets are even not performing. So जब market नीचे जाता है, your portfolio falls more, and market goes up, your portfolio do not recover much. Probably it's not giving you much return. So what kind of quality your stocks are? That's very important. Quality is very important, not the quantity. So keep that in mind. I mean, if you have a good quality and if you have a good asset allocation, I think making money in the long term is a proven thing. There is no need to prove that. I mean, आपका पैसा बनेगा ही बनेगा. अगर अब तक नहीं बना है, then I think you need to rework on your portfolio, restructure it, and get into
Yes.
good quality names.
Absolutely. Well, this is an advice which will not just help, Ankur, but a lot of our viewers who've been entering into the markets and starting off with their journeys in the recent years, the right way to really adopt in the markets. Okay, we have one last question to squeeze in. We'll squeeze in that, Jay, for you. This is Hardik who says वेदांता में 325 रुपए में मैंने खरीदा हुआ है. इस स्टॉक के ऊपर आपका क्या व्यू है और क्या करना चाहिए अभी वेदांता पर?
Let's see, Vedanta has been hard hit, Sakshi, and the overall metals have been hard hit quite a lot. And Vedanta ka sawal hai, see, this has been one of the performer as far as the uptrend is concerned. Recently, the metal stocks have seen a lot of beating, or I would say a lot of selling pressure due to the tariff and all of it, mainly on China, right? And so if demand drops in there, then definitely metal prices comes down. So I think metals will take some time to bounce back. I mean, unless US China policies are not clear, I mean they can bounce back, but then getting into a bull market trend again, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि टाइम लगेगा इसमें क्लैरिटी आने में. ऑल्दो देखिए होता क्या है कि जनरली देयर इज एन इनवर्स कोरिलेशन बिटवीन मेटल्स एंड डॉलर इंडेक्स एक्चुअली, राइट. तो अब डॉलर 110 वाला 100 के नीचे आया और उसके बावजूद अगर मेटल्स नहीं चले तो इट्स नॉट दैट कि डॉलर का इम्पैक्ट इसमें नहीं आ रहा है, डॉलर का आ रहा है. यूएस चाइना टेंशन जो है ना वो जब तक क्लियर नहीं हो गया, आई थिंक मेटल्स रिलेटिवली अंडर परफॉर्म करेंगे.
एब्सोल्युटली. उम्मीद करते हैं आपको हर्षद यहाँ पर पता चल गया हो कि कैसे आपको स्ट्रैटेजी अपनानी है स्टॉक पर भी. जय, मेनी थैंक्स अगेन फॉर बीइंग विद अस एंड आंसरिंग ऑल द क्वेरीज ऑफ आवर व्यूअर्स एंड गिविंग अस योर पर्सपेक्टिव ऑन द मार्केट्स, द स्ट्रैटेजीज वन नीड्स टू अडॉप्ट. ऑलवेज happy to have you with us on daily calls and hope you have a fantastic time till the time we meet you next.
Thank you so much, Sakshi. Likewise, it's always a pleasure to be on your show. Looking forward to going ahead as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, markets roaring higher. We hope this improves for the better. 23,340 now, over 500 points of an uptick that you can see. Comfortable green is what we can see across the screen as far as today's trade is concerned. Do stay tuned on to Business Today Television. There's a whole lot more that you need to track by way of market momentum and various market experts as to what they are tracking in this recovery in the market. So stay tuned for that, and I'll be back for the closing edition at 3 p.m.